Okay, so today I'm doing a little bit different video. This one's based on my opinion. It's, it's talking about different frame setups and what performance advantages or disadvantages I have felt when I have tried each different setup. The my baseline setup that I'm going to be comparing, that I have compared all of them to, it's all 80mm setup that I have here. And then the other types of setups I'll go into are a high-low setup, which is mainly restricted to hockey, and a tri-die, 5-wheel frame setup, 4 110 rockered, anti-rockered, and even front rockered. So let's start off with the baseline all 80s. It's a flat setup, meaning all 4 wheels on each skate are touching the ground. It gives you about average turning, about average stability, and just average responsiveness. A lot of people like it because it's very good for speed, very good for grip, and maneuverability is very good if you know how to use it right. The cons, there's not really any, and that from what I have seen using it for so long, and that's probably why I chose it to be the baseline. Now, high-low. A high-low setup, that's the main high-low setup is a hockey high-low, which is a flat setup. The main difference is it's 280s in the back, two either 72s or 76s in the front, depending on how old the skate is. Pros of it is it leans the boot forward a bit, which makes it good for sprints and quick turns. It shortens the frame too, doing that, so you have better turns, sharper turns, tighter turns. Still stable, but not as stable as the 80s, like all the same size wheel. But you do lose a little bit of speed at the top end there at your top speed. Cons, tends to pronate. Like, what I mean is, what ideally when you're skating, like when you're standing, and just going straight, you want both skates straight up and down like this. When you pronate, you tend to kind of tilt your skates in like this, and then that's how you see wheels getting worn off on the inside from people skating like that, or them just dragging their toe. And that pronation causes pain in the ankle. I've noticed that this just skating out of even knowing how to keep your ankle straight, it's still a little, the skate tends to want to pronate on you with high-low. Rotating wheels, that's a little bit of a problem too sometimes, depending on how you skate. And then one problem I found with high-low is hockey stopping. It felt like you really had to put a lot more effort into the heel to get it to slide. And going backwards, for me, being not used to the all same size wheels, it felt a little bit unstable, like as I got faster and faster on it. Tri-die, that felt a little bit of the same. Let me first explain what a tri-die is. A tri-die is an 80mm wheel in the back, 2 76s in the middle, and 72 in the front. That that again leans the boot forward, giving you an aggressive stance, good for sprints. Um, and also again makes the frame a little bit shorter, so better for turns and quick acceleration. Um, Same problem as the high-low, you pronate a bit, but to me it did not feel like you pronated as much. I don't know why, but it just did not feel like as you pronated as much. And the slides, those felt a little bit easier than the high-low. I don't know, it might have been that the Mission skate I was using for the high-low had just a really high heel in the back, but it felt a little bit easier. But again, rotating wheels was a problem. Stability going backwards, and um, the stop and rotating wheels, especially rotating wheels, was another con. And this has nothing to do with performance. It's just in general is buying wheels for it is pain because you have to get 280s, 476s, 272. So you have a huge range of wheel sizes to get. Rockard, also known as the banana rockard. Pretty much the basic layout of it is 76 in the back, 280s in the middle, and a 76 in the front. Pros of it are faster turns at slower speeds. This is generally used in slalom skating, and it gives it like an ice skate like feel. Cons: it's unstable, gives a bad speed wobble at high speeds. Um, it's easier to fall backwards and forwards on it. Pretty much the basic idea of why you would rocker a skate though is well, you have to compare it to like the fighter jets of today. They design them to be aerodynamically unstable so that they can turn quicker and just do some crazy maneuvers that would be hard if it was aerodynamically unstable or stable. I mean, so pretty much you're creating instability in the skate to get better maneuverability. But you're sacrificing speed and stability for yourself. Um, I'm I would assume after a while though you would get so used to it you don't even notice it. Um, that also brings us up to the front rocker. The front rocker. Pros of it is you get the agility on the toes. You get plus the added benefit of stability on your back, on your heel, so you get good speed. Um, mm, Sometimes speed skaters will, or even just outdoor skating, they'll take the front their front wheel off, put a smaller one on there to train themselves to skate more on the heel and get more power out of their stride. Um, for outside skating, one really good benefit is rolling over the bumps. You hit that middle wheel, and then your skate, that front wheel catches you so that you don't fall forward as easily. I'm not saying that it's impossible to fall forward with it, but it makes it a little bit smoother. But it does also wear that front middle wheel a little bit harder. Um, One con of it is instability at certain points, and like when you're if you like lean forward a little bit, you at a certain point you're on just the one wheel, so pivoting would create a little bit instability. And you have less grip because it's 3 wheels touching the ground instead of 4, and then you lose some speed to doing this. Anti-rocker setup is pretty much you have bigger wheels on the front. This is mainly used exclusively in aggressive skates, by the way. It's pretty much you have bigger wheels on the outside, and sorry, and so it's kind of and you either have no wheels in the middle or just hard plastic wheels. And the pros of this is just being able to do grinds without the wheels catching. But there's more. I feel there's more cons to it. The wheels I noticed wear a lot quicker because you're only on two wheels. Slides are extremely hard to control on this, and grip in the corners it's not good at all. You at some points you just feel like those back two wheels just give out completely on you. So there's for me, I wouldn't even really try it again. Uh, Now that brings us up to the speed skate setups, like the frame setups. There's a few different setups. The few different setups for the speed skates are a 5-wheel frame, which is now not really used in speed skating, but it's used in downhill because it has more stability on the front here. You have the 4x110, 4x100, 4x105. You have a 3x110 setup, which I've never skated. You have a hybrid frame, which is a 3x110, 1x90, or 100 sometimes, depending on the manufacturer. But the 4x110 setup, the benefits to this is because has a longer frame, you have more stability front to back, and because the wheels are bigger, they flex a little bit more than with the 80s, giving you a bigger footprint and making you able to put more power to the ground with every step. Now, downside of these is you really have to know what you're doing to get the most out of this setup, and you really also have to know what you're doing to turn it, because it puts a lot of stress on your ankle. Takes a lot of strength to get it to turn tight and to do exactly what you want out of it. And the cons are the price of the wheels. It gets expensive, but they do last a while. And then there's just a bunch of different frames out there, so you just gotta. The best thing to do is just ask somebody who's already in the sport of speed skating if you're going to go with a 110 setup. Ask them what they like. Ask them what they have found works for them. For me, this frame, it's been like the second frame I've been on, and I've stuck with it for, I think, 4 years. I don't even know I've had it so long. The frame is a Core Triple X2 frame. No, it's a stiff frame. It's a light frame. Have not had a problem with it ever. That brings us up to the old setups, which are the five wheel downhill setup. Pretty much, I would say this feels to me like a hockey skate with an extra wheel on it. That's what it felt like. It felt like you had the same amount of wheel hanging off the back as I would with this, and it just felt like extra front wheel was added on there. That's literally all it felt like. So, but it did give me more grip, more speed. I could really lean a little bit farther on the edge on these. The roll felt a lot better, and I think that's because it distributed the weight among all 5 wheels a little bit better than it did with 4, so the less wheel like compression on the straightaway. Um, it it turned a lot tighter than the 5 wheel or 4 110 setup. This felt really light. I was actually able to do tricks on it. I was able to go backwards on it. Where with the 4 110 setup, it was hard. Major flaw in it though, and this is buying wheels, and that's not as bad because you can buy. If you're buying them packs of 8, then yeah, I guess it does kind of annoy you a bit. But bearings though, they don't sell them in sets. What is it? 20, I believe. In sets of 20, they sell them in sets of 16. So you're gonna pretty much buy 2 sets of bearings, which if they're cheap bearings, that's not that too bad. If you go for expensive ceramics though, that's gonna be like 400 bucks just because you need 2 extra bearings or 4 extra bearings. But it's definitely a fun just setup to screw around with every once in a while. And it's but racing on it, I wouldn't really recommend it anymore because I have not seen anybody race on this frame in the last 4 years. Like in speed skating, downhill, you'll see a lot of it. Downhill, because of this extra front wheel, it does give you stability when you're leaning forward and going downhill at high speeds. I could see why you would want that. So, yeah, again, this is all just my own personal experience, what I have felt when I have skated the frames. So this is pretty much all of this is just all my opinion. So uh, it, if you have a different understanding of it, that's just you. This is just what I have gotten out of each setup when I have tried it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and leave